Welcome back, everyone. Today I bring you my first video in quite some time because I have been moving, as I have said in the last video, I think. I'm not completely sure. I think I did. And yeah, so this is the first video from my new apartment. And it might sound a bit different because my room isn't quite ready yet, because I'm lazy. Um, but I hope it will still be okay. Well, if it's not okay, you will most likely not hear this recording. So anyway, um, I still don't really have internet. We're just using the mobile hotspot of my girlfriend because she like gets limited internet from work, but it's obviously not the most stable for gaming. So that's why I still also haven't played any game in a new apartment, but luckily I still had a good game from back home, and I thought I'd make it into a video. It's also coincidentally the last game I played before moving, and you can see here I am playing 39th, and I'm going up against 24th National Guard Infantry Division, played by Koch, who is taking part in the Steel Division, well, not Steel Division, Simulated Divisions WARNO League right now. I couldn't take part for, well, obvious reasons, because I was moving and I just didn't know when everything would be finished and when we would have internet, and turns out it was a good decision to not take part, which obviously is sad, but I might cast a few games from the league. Though, yeah, not taking part in it. And playing on 2 lakes, which is an absolute garbage map, but at least I was lucky and got the good spawn. Why is it a good spawn? If you don't know, it's because I can reach this city, which is supposed to be his. Like you can see, those are his 3 points. Those are my 3 points. Those here. I can reach his sector earlier than he can reach it. Like and I don't even have airborne forward deployed, which would make it even more stupid. But even with recon forward deployed, I will be here earlier than he will be. He will be like around here or something at the earliest. Oh, it also depends on the transports. No airborne forward deployed doesn't really matter in this case because he gets the snipers which get the airborne forward deploy, but other than that he also only has the recon forward deployed. And yeah, so he is basically already at a massive disadvantage. You can see I use 39th with the Razvedka Saperi, which I like quite a lot because they give you the option of doing some aggressive infantry plays in the early game. You can see I then take some Grenzer as cheap recon on the right flank. Obviously, you then also need some AT infantry or whatever to support them. But because there's very few decks that have forward deployed heavy vehicles or something, this can really help you establish a foothold in a city, like for example in this case, and then reinforce them with whatever you need. But at least having the foothold already. You can also see I'm deploying 2 OSAs because 24th has the option of doing a fairly aggressive helicopter opener with I think they get the Recon Kiowa, but I'm not sure whether it's the one with the Hellfires. But they get the Cobras, and they can also have some arrow rifles in the Hueys, which is obviously not forward deployed, but they still get to the front line fairly quickly. So I wanted to have some air defense to get rid of them or like stop them before they can drop into the town, maybe if I'm lucky. For the arrow rifles, and will shoot down the helicopters just straight up, because he might assume that I go aggro into this town. Though it is fairly like you don't see it often with 39th. but hey, God knows what he expects from me, because I mean, obviously I'm doing it, so it is possible. You can see a Grenze also deploying on the right flank of the city, because this is also a fairly popular engagement area. I wanted to deploy them maybe further forward aggressively, but then I was afraid because he can also have some forward deployed Bradleys and M150s, and again also the whole problem with helicopters that he might be using. You can see I'm starting with 2 commands this time, 2 BMP 1K3s. I quite like those shitty commands. They're shitty because they're slow, but you get 3 of them per card, which I like quite a lot, and I mean they only cost 70 points, so I'm perfectly fine with them being slower. And I mean they're also armored, contrary to like the command jeeps and have 10 HP, so they're also quite beefy. Yeah, the Grenzer here was spazzing out. I have no idea what was going on there. Like, he tried to go to the side, and then he was like, no, actually, I need to go back to on the road, so no idea what was going on. So let's finish up the deployment quickly. 1 Metis, Conquerors, and 2 Sturms going to the right side. To the right flank, the Conquerors is here, Metis is here or here, can't remember. And then the 2 Sturms, like, in a more defensive position in case he does a big push on the right flank, which you see sometimes. Plane coming in fairly early on, which I guess makes sense because he wanted to protect himself from some armored helicopter rush. Stop the OSA so that it doesn't keep driving, because if you don't know, if your radar guided AA pieces keep driving, they will lose lock on the plane once it's out of range. Whereas if you stop them, if the plane flies out of range, the rocket still keeps track. And you can see like my Resveka was here, and then his recon only got up to like this building there. So yeah, that's pretty dumb. And there you can see 2 Motostrelki, 1 Motostrelki Metis, 2 Iglas, those are Conquerors. Yeah, that's basically my deployment here. And there is the forward deployed recon Bradley, so I was right about being afraid of that one. And only now his infantry arrives, but I already have a pretty good foothold in the city here. I was microing the right-hand side and looking what's going on there. As you can see, there's some units of his there, but though nothing offensive, which is good. Shoot down the Kiowa. Though this is not the warrior, this is the one... the warrior is the one with the Hellfires, this is the one with just the Hydra rockets. Those two, I think, exceptional recon. Yeah, it is exceptional recon, so always a good thing to shoot it down. There's Bradley's engaging at range, which is a bit painful. Conqueror's engaging the Bradley, and unfortunately having a really close miss. Only doing splash damage, not killing it. His Phantom is still flying around to my spawn. I guess he wanted to camp me in case I bring in a fighter. Wild Weasel comes in to see it, but completely misses, as they as they usually do. Second rocket also misses, though at least stuns the OSA, so I guess there's that. Got a hit in though, so he will take some time to repair. More infantry of his coming in, though I am at a +1. Driving the BMP-1. I knew that there was a Bradley there, but I hoped that the Conquerors would be able to snipe it, but it wasn't, so yeah, that sucked. And he was able to snipe my BMP command. So this is sad, but you can see I'm still at a +1, because he took some time to get into this sector, for reasons. Now the Bradley killing off all my BTRs, but I mean they have already done a pretty good job. Infantry has basically taken the town, lost 1 Razvedka Saperi, but yeah, that really doesn't matter considering I took his town, so that's a trade I'm definitely willing to make. Congress shot all its missiles without hitting anything, I'm pretty sure. Like there was a close miss on the Bradley, but that was about it. And yeah, you can see, except for the early skirmish here, the right-hand side is pretty silent, which makes me happy, because you can see there's not a lot there. Sturm moved up to cover the right-hand road, because you can see there's a pretty good sightline there. Now his infantry is moving into the city, but he's using the 6-man teams, and yeah, this is the whole problem with 24th, that you have so much 6 man infantry that isn't really good. But you need him for the AT because all your big infantry squads have no AT at all. Yeah, so always hard to get a good city fight. With 24, Striker who comes in and misses completely, though my Osa also misses, and only has one missile left. I brought in a helicopter because it seems like he doesn't have a lot of AA there. I think he hit one motor stroke squad or something with this bomb. Osa... Oh no, I think it's actually the Eagler that hit because it's at 6 HP and Osa does 7 damage, so it was actually one of the Eaglers that hit. Osa missed and is now out of ammo. Killing off another Kiowa on the left hand flank, and you see a new command coming in. So I will soon be ticking again, which is pretty good. Conqueror's here now in a pretty bad position because you can see the whole right side here, this forest line, is covered by the buildings here, which is not very helpful. But yeah, because of the whole moving thing, I haven't had much time to play in the last like 2 months. So, you know, those are the little micro mistakes you do if you don't play regularly enough. Mi-24 luckily survives because of its 10% ECM. I was calling it an SC-25, but now it obviously got caught by the F4. Luckily, though, it doesn't die. It was bringing in 2 coups, which was lucky. And they hit the Phantom once, but both used all ammo, so I hit 1 out of 6 rockets from just the coups. I'm pretty sure the SC-25 also missed its heat seeker, but yeah, oh well, it do be like that sometimes. I prioritized the supply for the infantry in the town, because I wanted to keep the foothold, instead of for the OSA and the Mi-24, and resupplying the smoke for the G80, which I would say was the right call to make, though obviously he had a disadvantage that his Phantom wasn't being shot at by this OSA. Also on the right hand flank, obviously too far away. Yeah, I'm calling back this command for the Grad, because, yeah, well, I mean, city fighting calls for a Grad strike, right? Especially if there's a lot of infantry bunched up into a fairly tight area. I mean, with my command in the sector right now, the situation is fine as is, but yeah, you can see he now has brought in a lot of high HP units, so the Grad is a pretty good tool to deal with them. Turned off all my AA because he's brought in the Weasel, and I wasn't particularly looking forward to having all my AA sniped, because the strike eagles are a pretty big danger to me. So, I mean, they're just a big danger in general. Nothing special about me in this case. Fireteam 84 killing off the BMP2 here, but Saperi commander are actually holding their own pretty well against the 6-man squad, because they're just 4-men, but they have the shock trade. And I think they were also already low from an engagement before. Push back his infantry with the help of a bunch of BTRs and a lot of infantry here. Weasel flying over my line, getting hit by, I'm pretty sure, the Eaglers, and then the SC-27 I called in, because it seemed like he was investing a lot into air. So a fighter of my own seemed like a good choice. SC-27, really good plane, really cost efficient. It's not the best, but it also costs only 250 points for having 30% ECM and a lot of missiles, which have a decent accuracy and range. Well, I mean, the R-73 is one of the best heat seekers in the game. Now the Saperi, unfortunately, were killed off by, I'm pretty sure, an engineer squad. Which, yeah, well, that makes sense. TADBV pushing forward gets a fat side shot from the National Guard M1. Yikes. Smoke it off from the Bradley, and the M1 go back. Get it by the M1 again, actually. It was a bit sad, but, well, it survives. Because the National Guard M1 doesn't have the best gun. The TADBV obviously has good armor. And with the air trade, the extra HP. And you can see more planes coming in, so buying in the SU-27 fighter was definitely a good choice. And 2 coups. One Eagle here was killed off, because it was brought in too close into the city. Eagle is killed, so that's a very important unit taken out. One strike eagle gets hit by the coup and is forced to retreat. Unfortunately, it doesn't get hit a second time by my air defense. The second strike eagle should still be around, coming in. Oh no, that's the weasel. I wasn't turning my AA off because I think I didn't pay attention at this point, honestly, but he kills off an Osa and a coup, which is pretty good for a white weasel, honestly. Like, he got 2 for 2 there, which with his shitty missiles. But he loses it, which means that he is now out of seed. I'm 99% sure that the 24th, that's what I call it, only get 1 card, and even if they get 2 cards, nobody really takes 2 cards. So his seed is now gone, and I can leave my AA turned on the whole game. And also, well, my fighter survived, so this is also still an option. Coup vetted itself up, but I'm able to hit the F4 here. Sadly, you can see a bunch of more infantry coming in, and he just isn't able to push me out. Because, well, I was able to get the early foothold and then just flood in more and more infantry. And while my infantry isn't the best, it is still better than most of his, except for his engineers, which are... It's not the best infantry in the game, but is one of the most cost-effective infantry in the game, let's put it like that. But because I was using my BTRs as a very good fire support, I could whittle down his engineers pretty well, actually. Which is one big disadvantage of 24th, in my opinion, that doesn't get talked about a lot, that you don't get the... how are they called? The American 50 cal tracked vehicles. Jesus Christ, I haven't played this game in so long that I can't even remember what they're called. You know what they're called. The ones you can bring your engineers and the mechanized rifles in most divisions, and you can't bring your engineers in those in 24th. You can only bring them in trucks, and especially now after the Metis and Dragon nerf, those vehicles are so dangerous and valuable. And I mean, the BTR is not a 50 cal, but the 14.5mm is, I mean, functionally the same, just for the Soviets. And especially against those engineer squads, you can see I can just bully him with those, and he can't stop them. He can only stop them with his shitty 6-man squads. Grad hasn't fired this whole time because I didn't see any worthwhile target. Here I spotted some infantry in the back of the city and I saw reinforcements coming in, so I thought, you know what, that's a target that's good enough. Though, well, unfortunately those were Bradleys, so the Grad is not gonna kill them off. Though it killed off the Stingers and did a lot of stress damage to the Bradleys, especially because those are the National Guard ones, so those are disheartened. A lot of damage. And yeah, you can see it now, I just flood him with billions of BTRs. And my Motostrelki, Saperi RPO, normal Saperi, the Metis died, I think, at some point. Oh, that's sad. Moving in, the Mi-24P is still alive, even though it has been gun run by Phantoms like 20 times at this point. But it's still alive. BTR here actually managed to vet up. I think I've never... 2 of them actually. I think I've never in my life seen a BTR vet up. But in this case they did. So you can see how unbelievably well they were performing. Well, I mean, now they're gonna face a wall of Bradleys and this is not gonna end well for them. Even though the 14.5 actually can penetrate the Bradley, but it's very low damage. And the Bradley obviously does a lot more damage in return. Phantom again gun running the Mi-24 and it again survives. Though also again, all my air defense just... I don't know why his Phantoms are so invincible. Like his F-15 like died very unceremoniously, but this F4 was apparently flown by like some absolute madman, and yeah, was unkillable. BTR slowly being taken care of. You can see I spotted some scouts here with my Mi-8 MTPI, which is one of those cool jammer recon helicopters. So I brought in the rocket Mi-24V to clean it off. You can see I also moved it back a bit to be able to use my rockets, which in this case was pretty unnecessary because it's only a 4-man recon squad anyway, and now the F4 dives the Mi-24 and finally gets killed off by all the air defense I have here. Because you can see I also rebought the OSA and It's being vetted up by the T80 BVK that was by its side right now. Moving it into the sector again because, I mean, I might as well. I have a good point lead, but I also control the sector, so yeah, you know, put pressure on him. Finally get some conquers in, because I was just procrastinating it for quite some time. Well, I wasn't procrastinating, I was just prioritizing getting more infantry into the town to get complete control of it over the long-range engagements. And yeah, it worked out quite well. And now I have a bunch of damaged helicopters, but my supply was out. Grad has been resupplied, but at the moment no real target, because yeah, as I said, I wanted to saturate the city, but then kind of I ordered the town, and then I got control of the town, so it's not really useful right now. And I don't want to waste a barrage. Conquers now has a really target-rich environment on the horizon here, with all those Bradleys. More infantry moving in, but those are now the National Guard 6-man teams. And yeah, they will have a very bad time fighting against my outwitted Motostrelki and Saperi in the city. Another Phantom dying, so yeah, now his luck has finally run out. And well, with all the air defense and my fighter coming in, he stood no chance at all against them. Like, not even close. Moving out to T80 BVK to the flank to engage the Bradleys, because, well, I might as well. It's not the only tank, but I think I forgot about the other T80 BV back there. And yeah, I exposed it as a perfect target to the Strike Eagle, and you can see that everything misses. Jesus Christ, if I use a Strike Eagle, it always gets double tapped by some shitty man-pads, and then I have 3 long-range air defense assets, man-pads, and a fighter, and he doesn't get hit once. Like, bruh. Not like it particularly mattered in this case, because I was winning by a pretty high margin anyway, and there's still nothing going on the right-hand flank, because it's 2 lakes and it's an absolute shit map. But it was still pretty annoying. You can see SU-25 hovering in the back. Yeah, again brought in for all the Bradleys, but there's not much left of them at this point. He just can't get close to me, because his infantry is just too bad. He bought in mortars, which is a good idea. Tried, well, no, I think this is vehicle smoke. He smokes actually around the church, which was an interesting idea. But it's kind of a desperation move. And even then, like, what are you achieving? Like, you can get your vehicles closer, but you don't want to get your vehicles closer. Like, you want to get your infantry in, but your infantry isn't aided by smoking off this one Conquers. It's still just gonna die in the open, because it's completely useless 6-man teams. So, yeah, the struggle of playing 24th. You kind of need to build up I mean, it's basically how you play any division in this game. You have to build up a blob. By the way, second strike eagle being killed by the coup. You need to build up a blob of armored vehicles and then, well, blob your enemy. And you also need artillery, like heavy artillery, to get rid of such support equipment like the Conqueror's team, and then also just standard infantry, especially if your own infantry is subpar. Oh yeah, right-hand flank, still literally nothing going on. Now my BTRs are again just pushing out of the city and rolling over my enemy, killing off a Stinger and a bunch of vehicles moving out. But I mean, what's an ITO Jeep gonna do on the offensive? Yeah, literally nothing. Though I lose sight of them, which is fair enough. I had to retreat the Grenzer to repair it because I didn't want to lose it. This position here is pretty decent as a recomposition, and then going further forward is even better. Again, a close miss by the Conquerors. I was really disappointed by the Conquerors teams this game, though this one actually vetted up, so that was cool. Strike Eagle. So yeah, the one on the left flank was actually the first Strike Eagle to die. Yeah, right. So the second Strike Eagle was still alive, but got hit by the OSA and had to retreat. I think it killed the Motostrike with Metis, which is a good idea, because now you can see he can use his Bradley and his 50 cal, but I mean, he really can't because there's still Conquerors in the back. And there's also theoretically a storm that I could move up, which I didn't do because I was busy looking on the left-hand side. What the fuck, the Conquerors missed at this range? Jesus Christ. That's basically point blank. What the hell, man? Well, doesn't matter. Kill off a bunch of Bradleys again. SU-27 circling in the back. Grud ready to fire in case it needs to, but it doesn't, because yeah, he stood no chance of coming back in. You can see the KD also very much in my favor. And yeah, obviously mistakes done by him, but also I have to say it again and again, Two Lakes is just, it's just I can't describe it with words how unbelievably bad this map is. Like, if you spawn on my side, it is like a 99% chance to win. If you spawn on the other side, it's a 99% chance to lose. It just is that way. You're just fucked. And yeah, so sorry for my enemy, but yeah, I can't see his rank for a reason that I don't know. But he is a fairly decent player, type 115 or something right now, and he's also in Division 2 in the league, so yeah, definitely not a bad player. And yeah, you will see the BTR getting quite a lot of kills here. This BTR here getting 2 engineers. Like, Jesus Christ. Obviously, it's not. That doesn't mean that the BTR got those engineers from 10 health to 0, but that's a lot of damage, to quote an ancient meme at this point. Here, Eagler getting the Wild Weasel. Nice. This BTR, 2 engineers, Fireteam Law. I'm 35, yeah, whatever, but still kills. SU-27, Wild Weasel, and F-15 definitely earned himself a medal, this pilot here. Mi-24P really being a menace. 1, 2, 3, 4 Bradleys, infantry squad and supply truck, and a small little jeep. Still 20 points. Don't underestimate. Those losses can also pile up over the course of a game. Another BTR getting 2 engineers and a command jeep. Grad unfortunately only getting 2 stingers, but well, it do be like that sometimes. TADBV getting a scout and a National Guard Abrams, so yeah, whatever. Here the BTR getting a Bradley. Another BTR getting another engineer squad. So yeah, you can see this is what I said also already multiple times. The big problem of 24th is that you can get bullied so easily by those light armored vehicles because all your AT infantry is so shit. And such a glass, it's not even glass cannons, because your National Guard fire teams, they have laws. I'm pretty sure they can't even one-shot a BTR frontally. So absolute garbage. Also finally getting the F4. Concoursier in the tower getting 4 Bradleys and an M and a Jeep. So well done by that. Coupe, Phantom and Strike Eagle, very nice. The ATPVK, yeah, did nothing but kill a fire team and then get deleted by a Strike Eagle. Oops. Saperi getting 3 fire teams. SN25 actually not doing as good as I thought it would. But yeah, I mean, whatever. And hey, 2 more BTRs getting 2 Stingers and a Fighting Dragon. Yay! And yeah, on his side, there's a Bradley sniping of the BMP one. The BMP command in the early game was pretty painful. Sucked big time. And I mean, yeah, you can see he killed them off eventually, but they did so much damage to him over the course of the game. This fire team actually did a good job killing off 2 BMP2s, but then it died to my Sapari command. Strike Eagle also actually surprisingly got a lot of kills, or like decent amount of kills. It's just that everything else kind of didn't perform. And I mean, to be honest, this TADBVK was, at this point I didn't even care about it really. Weasel getting 2 AA pieces was good, but didn't really matter over the course of the game. And yeah, you can see most of his kills were just on my BTRs. So yeah, they sacrificed themselves for the Soviet Union, but it was worth it. And yeah, so I hope you liked this little bit of a shorter game. Internet should be there next week, and maybe I will even be able to play with the mobile internet we have right now. I'm not sure. We'll try a 10v10 and see how it goes, whether my internet will drop or not. So yeah, but anyway, I will be back with more regular videos from definitely next week, and I hope to see you then. Have a great evening, morning, day, whatever it is where you are, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.